Moving ahead, it's time to take the visual narrative of the day forward, and we're turning into one of the most transformative forces shaping modern India now. That is digital payments. India's digital payments revolution, led by UPI, has fundamentally reshaped how over 1 billion people transact, creating the world's largest real-time payments ecosystem and setting a global benchmark for financial innovation. Let's take a look. And the way India pays redefines how India travels. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, is a very special session, because our next conversation features some of the most respected and influential leaders in Indian hospitality. Now, these individuals have not only witnessed the industry's evolution, but have actively shaped it. Beyond the playbook, Real Lessons from Real Stalwarts offers us an opportunity to hear perspectives forged through institution building, crisis navigation, expansion cycles, and long-term stewardship. This is not theory. This is lived leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, with a generous round of applause, let's have these very distinguished panelists onto the stage, please. We have Mr. Ajay Bakaya, Mr. Kachru, Mr. Vijay Dewan, and moderating the discussion, Mr. Vijay Thacker. Let's give them the applause that the journeys deserve, ladies and gentlemen. Please, a big one here. Over to you, Mr. Thacker.
Good evening, everybody. I guess I'm not going to spend too much time trying to introduce the panel here. Everybody should know them. We have Mr. Kachru on the far side, Mr. Dewan next to him, Mr. Bakaya to my left. And since Mr. Kachru is the most experienced but the youngest of the lot, Mr. Kachru, let's start.
I don't give up my age, you know.
Sorry?
I don't want to talk about my age.
I'm not talking about it. I'm just saying you're the youngest, yeah, as per Mr. Dewan. So,
I'm an admirer.
We have seen a lot of change in the last 5 years. Now, I'm not going to restrict this conversation to just the last 5 years. Maybe that's one aspect, but you can even talk about life lessons. What are the 2 or maybe 3 major lessons that we have learned in the last 5 years, or even as a life working in hospitality?
Vijay, we learn all the time, but you know, to answer specifically how things changed, and we still remember what happened to us 5 years back, I think one thing we all will accept, that being resilient is something which has to go hand in hand with strategy. If that's not part of your strategy, I don't think we can always take it as, you know, something happens, we react. We have to have a proper plan for all kinds of things. COVID was just one of them. I mean, there are a couple of other issues. I think this is for the first time we realize the value of domestic tourism. You know, if you had asked any one of us prior to COVID, what would be the share of domestic tourism, international tourism, I don't think anybody would have imagined that we're over 90%, in some cases 95% of our business within the country is domestic tourism. Around the same time, focus on tier 2, tier 3, everybody, all the previous speakers have been talking about the value of domestic tourism and what comes of it. I just heard, you know, what my colleague spoke earlier. 50% of almost all brands are located now in tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And nobody thought of that kind of scenario probably 7, 8 years back. Everybody was focusing on Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore. So these are the things we have learned. And I think one thing you will all agree with me, we have to accept that comfort is actually enemy for growth. We never need to be comfortable.
Okay, so you're saying it's resilience, it's the domestic market, it's the need for growth or the opportunity for growth outside the big the big markets. And I'll tell you that based on our statistics, over the next 5 years, more than 60% of the, or maybe 65% of the new supply is coming outside the top 10 markets. So that just tells you how important it is to move outside, though the top 10 markets are still major contributors of revenue.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And sort of the need for sort of never being complacent. Ajay, what would you add to that with something new?
Sure. I think for us, the last 5 odd years specifically, the big challenge is unbridled growth. So ever since your inception as a company, you're always focused on growth and development. It's part of any company. And I think we've gone past that stage where we're only looking at growth. The bigger challenge now is how do you continue to deliver what you're promising an owner when you're signing on the dotted line in the pre-opening stages, in the opening stages, and post-opening of the hotel. And candidly, we've fallen short in some cases. And
what are the specific areas that you think we can improve upon?
Well, I think for Sarovar as a company, it's more structure and technology. Once you go beyond a certain point, you are perhaps doing yourself more harm by signing everything that comes along. Absolutely. And while all boards across the world push you onto more and more, how many have you signed and how many have you opened? I think one's got to keep a strong balance between growth and development and delivery.
Right. Okay. Any other point you'd like to add? Or this is, I think, a very powerful and a very deep point because it's essential to sort of almost saying that, you know, you cut the coat according to the cloth that you've got, which means that's the thing you have. And even if you look at the airline industry for that matter, you grow up to a level, you then have to stabilize and reset and then grow further. So that's exactly what you're saying.
I think every sort of 50 hotels you add, you got to change as an organization in terms of thought, in terms of structure, people structure, in terms of technology. And unless you're doing that, you will always fall short.
Absolutely. I'll come to the Dewan of Calcutta. He is, isn't he? Yeah?
Yep.
So what would you like to add?
So first thing first, I think the basic playbook has to be perfect. It has to be actually mastered. So the way I look at it is that, or the way our company has looked at things, is that you have to get to do few things. You have to do those few things differently, and you have to do them absolutely right. So in our model of hospitality business, the right thing comes through design. Design for us create experience itself. And the second is in terms of entertainment. Entertainment, we believe that if events and entertainment is a strong part of the hotel, it's a business by itself, and actually it can drive demand. So first thing is to get the basic right. And in terms of when we do design experiences, the other key aspect is to get the atmosphere right in our hotels, which is business-like during the course of the day, to be a little cool and sexy during the evening, and to be really buzzing and to be really vibrant and energetic in the night. So the entertainment, again, is a key differentiator. It's a key differentiator which drives demand itself. So because of that, our weekend demand actually is much higher than possibly even weekday demand. So this leads to what? It leads for us to leadership in occupancy and leadership in RevPAR in the upper upscale segment. I'm very proud to say that the park has India's highest occupancy for the last 10 years or even more. And even during the COVID period, we recorded India's highest occupancy of 67 and 72%. In fact, the occupancy percentage is actually world-leading occupancy. Our hotel in Calcutta does close to 100% occupancy, which could be a world benchmark. The second thing to get it right is to get to get the culture right. So we have a result-oriented culture, which is based on values of excellence, innovation, teamwork, commitment, integrity, respect, and trust. And we strongly believe, as a third point, that highly engaged people only create highly engaged customers, and that leads to higher profit. So first thing first is to get the basic playbook right. The second important thing, the lessons which we have learned, and to support Mr. Kachru's point, is to build business resilience. This happened during the period of the COVID, and then also to build in financial, resilience. Business resilience or developing business resilience is very easy to say, but it's very, very hard to do, and it's very, very hard to define. The way I look at resilience or business resilience is that the force of adaptation and the force of agility has to be higher than the force of disruption. Comes from my earlier schooling as a chemistry professor, but that is how I believe that the force of the agility, the force of, the change, the force, the way you can handle this, it has to be higher. The force of adaptability has to be higher.
If I might ask you there, if I might intervene there, is it at all possible in today's world to run a company without agility?
Without?
Agility.
No, yes. So
I think without agility, you will not be
Possible to run it down.
You
I don't
will
think
run
you
out
can
very
survive.
quickly. You won't survive.
So Vijay, so actually it's not just about agility. It is super resilience and super agility.
No, I support your point. I'm just stressing on that.
Yeah. So to further elaborate, it actually leads to the creation of a very stable and a very formidable organization. We achieved this success during the COVID period. That's why we were successful to do an IPO. And our IPO also was very, very successful. So currently, of course, the new playbook for us is that it's not just about debt to equity. It is about remaining all the way through our next development cycle to be actually net cash positive all the way over the next 5 years during the course of the cycle, next development cycle.
The one thing which I would like to add is that what I have seen, particularly in the last 2 years, is that there has been a greater unity of purpose among the main players in the industry. And I think that sense of unity, it's not cartelization. Don't get me wrong at all. It's not cartelization, it's unity of purpose. And I have to laud the associations and HAI, Mr. Kachru is here, Ajay, for all the effort that you're
all of us,
all three of you,
all of
absolutely.
us are members of HAI, and
because that unity of purpose,
I'm glad you said so,
is something that is very necessary for the industry at the stage of growth that we are.
What really brought us together? One was, we're lucky, we have like-minded people, and we're one family, and we feel for each other. Second, I think all of us realize that, we initially thought the boom in the market came because it was revenge travel, as Gen Z is talking about, revenge travel. But actually, it is the evolution of change in lifestyle which has happened. And there comes what you said earlier, we have to be agile. We have to actually give to the market what they accept, what they want. We can't tell them what worked yesterday will work today, and what is working today will work tomorrow. And we have to shape our products, our offerings accordingly. I think it's a combination of all these three factors.
So talking about boom, let me take it on from there. Believe me that the next boom is actually just around the corner. We had a lot of discussions over the course of this afternoon about AI and the disruption or the kind of job losses which AI is going to bring. It's actually going to be very helpful as far as tourism is concerned. Elon Musk went on stage about a month or 2 months back, and he said on stage that actually work is going to become optional. So if work is going to become optional, just look at it like this, that actually this 40 hours of work or 48 hours of work was actually the enemy of travel. It was the enemy of travel, that enemy of travel, work is going to become optional. And if work becomes optional, which it is going to be over the next 10 to 20 years away, what is going to happen is that people are going to travel more, people are going to go for new experiences, people are going to actually travel and travel. So there is going to be actually a demand explosion. The question is that actually, are we ready for it? It is going to be a very significant demand catalyst in the history of hospitality industry. Nobody has said so right now, but I believe that actually AI is going to significantly will be a demand creator.
I don't think demand is an issue for the next 10 years in this country. The question is, how are we going to cope with it? We still have a lot of structural stuff to fix as a nation, some very serious stuff to fix as a nation. You've got to unlock the value of land. You do need 1 million hotel rooms tomorrow, but where are they going to come from? The land is far too expensive. Not too many people want to invest in hotels. It's not a priority. There are plenty of other sectors where you make more money faster. We've talked about single window clearances for the last 20, 30, 40 years. We've been hearing them. There is no such thing. It doesn't exist. And if it comes into play, it'll be a miracle. I always talk of this one thing that a nation or a state or a city can do. You list what is required of me in terms of documents for approval. So I need 1 to 50, 1 to 99. I upload all of that on a website. You look at it impartially, you say, okay, your application is accepted, or I can't accept it for so-and-so reason, you got to fix it. If it's accepted, give it 15 days, 30 days, 60 days. If you still haven't approved it, it should be deemed to be approved. So what's holding up doing something as honest as this? We have an extremely complicated system and a complex system that nobody wants to solve.
Yes, and you're absolutely right that there is a lot of gap between the talk and the actual ease. Mm-hmm. There is also a big gap between the creation. I'm going to take Yashobhoomi as an example, okay? Yashobhoomi is touted, and maybe that's a wrong word, is talked about as a major facility, and it is. No, there's no question about it.
Sure.
But just go back and look at the convention center in Yashobhoomi. Exhibition grounds, substantial. Convention center, 3,000-seater. Now, what is 3,000-seater? You need to have in the capital city, I think 10, 12,000-seater convention center. Now, that's where all I'm saying is the infrastructure is still underdone for what this country could achieve. And if the infrastructure comes into play, we will be able to achieve much, much more. So the lesson has to be that incremental does not help. It has to be
Vijay,
massive.
I think, Ajay, sorry, go ahead.
We have to be thankful to the government for what's
Yeah,
happened in the last
yeah.
10 years in terms of infrastructure, airports, road networks across the country, et cetera, et cetera. So that part,
I think
And it's
they
helping
made
us
a
out.
good start. I mean, to give it to them. I know when you're saying that, 3,000 people, is it what we want when we're doing something new? We should have a vision what will happen to us 10 years, 20 years from now.
5 years from now.
That's okay. They made a good start. But the real problem, what Ajay said, is do we have people who acknowledge what is wrong with us, what needs to be done, and who is monitoring them? All the time, Ajay is fully involved in it. We just have one sentence to say, for last 3-5 years, all the associations collected together said, we're going to prioritize, because everybody used to go with a laundry list, and it used to get lost. We said, we will ask for 3 things. We asked them, they're processing them for particularly last 2-3 months between Niti Aayog, Australia Planning Commission, the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Tourism. They're working towards it. But what we are saying is, okay, whatever you decide, make somebody accountable for that and say, if the guy hasn't done his work, what is going to happen to the person? Ajay made a very relevant point, and he has been talking about this in every single meeting, that, okay, tell us this particular license will take 45 days. If it is not done in 45 days, why can't it be deemed? But I think they have to acknowledge that that's a problem, which I must say, Secretary is not here, Minister is not here, but they have started acknowledging what needs to be done, which is a shift.
That's an important lesson.
It's a
itself.
big shift. They have started acknowledging, and they're trying to fix it. Now, how much can we, on 1 to 10, whether it will be 5 or 7 or 8, I don't know. But there is a great shift which has taken place. But we need people from the private sector, and I agree with Secretary this morning. I don't think it's only government's responsibility. We as an industry also, we have to come forward as to what we can do. They can facilitate you, but we have to have proper ask. They declared 17 of our states, actually the state governments. He gave a new, sentence this morning that tourism is neither a state subject or a central subject. But all our lives, we have been told that tourism is a state subject. If it's a state subject, which it is, as per the notifications we have, they declare it prior to elections. I'm sorry, I may upset some people or some of the officials here. Just before election, they say this particular state is going to announce this is tourism is to be treated as an industry. They issue a notification, but
There's no follow-up.
they don't accord any industry benefits. There's only one state in India which has done about, I would say, 0.8%, which is Radisson, and I'm really proud of them that they have done it. Maharashtra, they declared it, notified it, and withdrew it after some time.
So that they can declare, so that they can announce it at the next election.
That's the problem. I think, fortunately, we have the setup between the associations and the government who are working very hard I can tell you for last 2 months, between various departments of the government, 7 to 8 meetings have taken place. And they're documenting, they are putting it on Excel sheets, they are putting dates. At least they're making an effort.
You know, that is a unity of purpose that's not just with the hotel industry, and that has to continue at the hotel industry, but that has become a unity of purpose with the government as well.
Absolutely.
Mr. Dewan, you want
Yeah,
to say
so
something?
some of these states, since it is a state subject, we have to look at it that actually some of the states are really doing well in terms of taking tourism initiative. One such state one can say is Tamil Nadu, where they have significantly increased the floor space index. There is a new circular from the government of Maharashtra as well. So there are some good stories as well, and we have to take those good stories to the other states and then try and implement those. I was in a meeting with the government of Orissa. They have also possibly, at the moment, got one of the best incentive policies. They also have a change in the FSI rules, which is going to significantly reduce the cost of doing business. Because if you get more FSI, you can build more, and of course, as a result of that, you can get higher profits. And today, there is a need in India
But
to
Vijay,
move
the
out,
issue-
let me finish, sir. To move out from 200 sort of rooms, average rooms, as per HTL report, maybe our average room size is about 100. We have to start looking at doing rooms with the kind of demand which is going to take place in the country, already taking place. We have to start looking at 400 rooms, 500 rooms, 700 rooms going forward. We have to put in the money, we have to arrange the money, we have to take the lead. The big problem, of course, please say, sir, what you were saying.
No, the only point I will continue to make is policies are announced. They need to be executed. That's all, you know. We have to, I think as an industry, all of us need to monitor and raise these issues about execution.
Well, here's reality. You mentioned Tamil Nadu, phenomenal policy on paper, phenomenal. They give you free labor and wages for a year or 2 years. They give you capital incentives, et cetera, et cetera. We've opened a project with 120 crore investment in Chennai 6 months ago. So we went to the government for saying, you know, but I'm ready to open, can I get all these benefits? Oh, they said, no, your approval was granted before the policy came into effect. So that's that. We've been open for 6 months. I can't offer my guests a glass of beer because the liquor license is still pending for various reasons. And now elections are coming up, so the cost multiplies.
Yes, and that is
those are realities in life.
Unfortunately, that is something that is not changing.
Not in a hurry.
It needs to change, and that's what's going to really then take us to the next big step that we really want. I mean, whether we agree with the boom factor of people not working or working, I'm scared of the situation where you say people will not work. I've seen what's happening in Germany. It's an absolute disaster. They said that their GDP next year is going to go up by 0.2% because 2 public holidays fall on the weekend. So therefore, they will be working for 2 more days in the year, and therefore GDP is going to go up by 0.2%. Anyway, that's a different matter. We have almost the last minute, literally one sentence that you want to add in terms of what you wish for the industry.
Well, EODB was the first thing I heard today, the first time. It's a great abbreviation. I would like to see that come into play.
Okay, so actual achievement of ease of doing business. Mr. Dewan, one sentence.
So I think India needs to focus on, in terms of foreign exchange earnings, as a percentage of GDP, rather than keep looking in terms of the number of tourists.
Perfect. So getting more value from the foreign tourists and getting more foreign tourists who give us value. Mr. Kachru.
I have a couple of points. Sorry, I'll take half a minute more.
We have only half a minute.
I actually feel that short-term wins will fade fast. And we need to acknowledge that even from our side, and credibility will last much longer. Now, if we want investment in India, we should understand why should people invest in India, and who will operate those hotels where you may get investment for a while because India is on a high. We need to develop people.
So
We
what
need
you're
to-
saying
we-
is create that long-term structure, the vision.
And the leadership. When we were talking last, I think we also have to develop our leadership. And leaders, I think we need to acknowledge leaders should inspire. They should not conspire.
That's the unity bit. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being a patient audience.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, I interrupted.
Thanks, buddy.
I don't think so, ladies and gentlemen. That was just any panel. That was decades of institutional memory speaking to us. The people who've woven the very fabric of hospitality industry in India. Let's give them a very warm round of applause.